Thank you so much for the question. At Amazon, we always work backwards from our customers. And when we think about strategy, we always look at things which will stay stable in time. And if you look at the customer and we work backwards from the customer and look for things that will stay stable in time, we believe that price, convenience, and selection are those three things which will remain stable in time. Customers will always want the deliveries slightly faster. They'd want the convenience of doorstep deliveries. They'd want the selection to be as wide as possible, and they'd want the prices to be as low as possible. And those three things don't change with time, right? But in India, very specifically, what we've seen emerging over time is customers, and rightfully so, are divinely discontent. And that's an amazing thing to be, because then we are forced to invent solutions on their behalf. If I take you back to 10 years ago, 2010, 2011 timeframe, if you were to send a courier from one place to the other, you'd probably send the courier and be happy that it reached in 2 or 3 days. But today, when you order from Amazon, your base expectation is free next day delivery. And that expectation of speed is one of the things which has changed with the customer cohort. And this expectation is not just limited to those who are staying in the metros of the country. They are staying in all parts of the country. 190 million plus people have come online, and they are coming from all small and big towns. So how do you service this demand in a reliable, meaningful way? And that's where we have partnered with Indian Railways. We have invested in our own aircraft fleet, which we call Prime Air. We've also partnered with every single airline in India to reach places as far off as the Havelock Islands or the Majuli Islands in the east. We have shipping tie-ups. So we truly are a multimodal network which focuses on connectivity. The second sort of aspect that we found is a highly variable nature of demand in this sector. So there is peak seasons, like Diwali is a very big season for us. Similarly, there are other shopping seasons through the year. And how do you scale up and scale down capacity for these seasons? So flexibility is a key component. And how do you use technology to be able to service that flexible demand, where we've built channels like what we call the I Have Space channel, which is basically partnering with Kirana stores to do deliveries for our customers. We have the DSP program, which is a delivery service partner program, where we partner with very small micro entrepreneurs and make them delivery partners. We have the Flex program, which is an entrepreneur model again, which is independent contractors delivering for us. We have a similar model in the trucking space, where we have very small and big trucking companies working with us. So the flexibility of the supply chain is a lot more from a requirement perspective today than it ever was in the past. And the third thing is about localizing pools of inventory. How do you get inventory closer to the customer so that you're able to service the demand, going back to the first point on speed, but now sustainably at a lower cost structure? Because flying a thing from place A to place B costs a lot more money than if it is right next to you. So how do you localize inventory? How do you know how to store relevant inventory close to the customer? And how do you light up pools of inventory, whether they are in seller facilities or they are in your fulfillment centers or they are in people's homes if they're making small handicraft? And how do you localize that demand supply equation? So the three trends that you asked me, I would summarize them as localization of inventory, building on factors which are stable in time, not just for big cities, but for every single postcode in India. And third, building a flexible supply chain that can flex up and down because of the variable nature of the demand. Air as a proposition for us is again working backwards from the customer and being able to service the customer demand in a meaningful way throughout the year. We spoke about different times of the year when demand increases, like Diwali. So when demand goes up, capacity comes down. You have that many more people trying to service that same demand at the same time through the same limited capacity. So what our own aircraft fleet will help us do is make sure that even in times of capacity constraint, we are able to give our prime customers the kind of promises that they've gotten accustomed to. And they will not have to have slower promises in times of high demand. It'll also help us delay cutoffs to customers. So we will be able to give next day promises to a much larger set of people for a longer duration in the day than we were able to earlier. So Prime Air in itself was also a very customer backwards decision, which we made to be able to service customers throughout the year in a more reliable and a speed efficient manner. Going forward, our focus will be on that very thing, that how do we make the customer experience that much better, that much more reliable for our customers across the country. We'll focus on our partnerships with the Indian Railways so that we can reach a larger part of the country reliably and fast. We will focus on our partnerships with our small and medium businesses and entrepreneurs that I spoke about earlier, whether it's through our delivery service partner program, our I Have Space program, or it is through our Amazon trucking program. And we will work with them to not only enable them, but also use their expertise to be able to service our customers across the country. And we're also meaningfully externalizing a lot of our services. An example would be Amazon Shipping, where we are working on externalizing our logistics network to sellers who are selling on their own websites and not necessarily selling on Amazon.in. And one of the things we spoke about last week is our integration with ONDC, where we will integrate our logistics network and our smart commerce network with ONDC and enable the ONDC sellers to use the logistics network which we've built for Amazon customers over the last 10 years.